to this week's Sunday feast here at ISKCON Chicago. On behalf of Sri Sri Kishore Kishori and Srila Prabhupada, a big welcome to all of you. A few quick announcements. First of all, tonight's class will be given by His Grace Rama Raghava Prabhu and Her Grace Amara Mataji in their Sunday feast debut. So very excited and very grateful to both of you for taking on this service. So thank you. There's a few quick announcements as well before transitioning over to our speakers this evening. The first is a reminder. There was a note sent in the email that on Tuesday, December 1st, is the Giving Tuesday. So if you donate, I believe it's starting at 7 a.m. Central Time through Facebook to ISKCON Chicago, there is a chance that your donations will be matched, meaning they are effectively doubled. So whatever your donation plans were for ISKCON Chicago this year, please take advantage of this opportunity and set your alarms for Tuesday at 7 a.m. on Facebook. Also, registration is open for the 2020 Winter Retreat. Due to the COVID-19 situation, this will be a virtual or online-only festival. So please take advantage of this opportunity. Registration links are on the temple email as well as available on the website. And there will be more information sent most likely next week, but the 2021 ISKCON Chicago calendars are arriving soon. And it's a fantastic theme and a beautiful calendar this year. Big thanks to the devotees that helped to make this possible. Due again to the temple being closed because of COVID-19, the calendars will be available for PDF download or mailing out physical copies for those that would like to purchase one. On a heavier note, I wanted to share a message on behalf of ISKCON Chicago that with a heavy heart, for those of you who haven't already been informed, the sudden demise of His Grace Srinivas Jagannath Prabhu, who is the husband of Preeti Vilasini Mataji, yesterday. And so Mataji has been serving Sri Sri Kishore Kishori Temple for several years now. And that's the funeral is scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. And that at 7 o'clock this evening, there is a memorial kirtan that will be taking place on Zoom. And for those that wish to attend the funeral, due to COVID restrictions, only 10 persons are allowed, which includes family members and the priest. So they're requesting to please keep both the departed as well as his family in your prayers. Hare Krishna. So we'll turn it over now to tonight's speakers, His Grace Rama Raghava Prabhu and Her Grace Amara Mataji, who are going to be continuing our Brilliant as the Sun series by giving us an overview of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, 8th Chapter. And their class is called How to Question and Hear.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So, invoking auspiciousness, Mangalacharana prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadavaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Krupa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadiyasya yato anvayaditarashchartheshvabhigyaswarat tene brahmaridaya adikavaye muhyanti yatsurayah tejo varim radam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo amrisha damna svena sada nirastakuhkam satyam paramadhimahi Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet. So thank you very much to Shri Shri Kishore Kishori, and through their blessed and beloved devotees, we have got this opportunity to share Krishna Katha that we have heard from the authorities in the parampara. So we are very thankful to all of you to purify our understanding of Krishna Katha. And particularly today, we would be focusing on Canto 2, Chapter 8, the questions of Parikshit Maharaj.
Okay, so we will start with a little sound clipping. And then I would like to play this one.
And this is not a disturbance. This is intentional. So don't worry.
So you might have understood that probably why did we play this? Because we feel what we hear. Definitely, when we heard these two different sounds, our heart reacted very differently to these two sound vibrations. So, hearing has a very profound effect on our consciousness. So, here we want to go ahead and tell you the story through a skit that how an old man and his house, the topic of the story is. And here is this old man. He is lying in the bed in a hospital in a very bad health condition. So rest of it you will be figure out. Father, your health is deteriorating so much. Oh, what should we do? Father, why don't you just take some rest? And better, you should sell that big house first so that you can just be peaceful, right, Father?
Sell that house? I have created that house with all my sweat and blood. You all were born there. You have been brought up there. I cannot sell that house. No.
So after a few days, the old man recovered and returned to his house. And what did he see?
Oh my God! God, please save my house! My house is on fire! Please help me! Please save my house! Someone please bring water! Please bring water, somebody! Please save this house!
Father, please calm down. We both are really sorry that we didn't listen to you. And we sold this house just yesterday.
Oh, you sold this house?
Yes.
So this house that is burning is not mine?
No.
This house is not mine. The house that is burning is not mine.
Yeah, somebody else's.
I just came back from the people who are going to buy the house. They canceled the deal.
Huh?
So this house that's burning is my house? Oh my God, please! Oh my God, please someone bring water. My house is burning. My house is burning.
So we see that how our brain reacts to different informations in different ways. So when this old man heard good news, he reacted differently. So some information brings happiness and some brings distress. So our brain reacts to different information with different emotions. So this is happening all the time, that mind is chattering. Our mind keeps talking and we are constantly hearing that, and our brain is almost spinning every time. So we hear through mind's perception, and everything around us, like things, relationships, behaviors, any message we see on phone or any news that we read, is conveying some information, leaving us feeling either good or bad, after all, right? Anything. So our life ultimately becomes like this. So
Really,
life is here.
I had stopped your sharing for the skit, so if you could share your slides again.
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, actually, yeah, 2 slides are done, right?
Yeah. You're here, right?
Yeah,
Now
so
I
I
see.
was saying that, so just previous slide, it was a little bit, so when the old man, so just coming back to this, that some information is bringing happiness, some is bringing distress, and mind's perception, like everything around us, is bringing some information to us, and we feel good or bad, only 2 choices. So life becomes like this. So it becomes like a swing. We are swinging between happiness and distress. So many times, doesn't it feel like we don't have any choice?
Right.
But if we see the great devotees, we can have a hope that we have a choice. We can't stop minds chattering. There we don't have any option because it will keep bothering us. But we have a choice not to listen to it. So hearing automatically happens, but listening is a conscious choice. There we need some attention. So what should we actually hear? So here is the great king Parikshit Maharaj. He is a great devotee of Krishna, the king of entire earth. He is showing by his own example that what should we be actually hearing. So let us first hear that who is this great devotee.
So if we specifically look at this chapter, chapter 8 of Canto 2, it is about the questions that Parikshit Maharaj is asking Shukadev Goswami. And before and after asking the questions which makes the crux of the chapter, he is glorifying Parikshit Maharaj, is glorifying Shukadev Goswami.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, again, he glorifies him. He takes a very humble position. And then he asks that, please answer these questions. So there is
just the overview, right?
yes.
Quick overview.
So there is the questioner, then there is the questioned, which is Shukadev Goswami and Srimad Bhagavatam, and then there are the questions. So let us look at the questioner. So I will start with this. One of the best questions that you can ask when something negative happens is this: what does this experience make possible? Now, if we look at life of Parikshit Maharaj, I have tried to put that life in those 3 bullet points that you see on your screen. That is the life of Parikshit Maharaj. If I have to just look at it from the point of view of how is life of this devotee, how the ups and downs in life has not altered his course of Krishna consciousness, and he has continued resolutely on the devotional path. So my first bullet is from the Brahmastra to the Takshaka. Now, I will take a minute or two to just go back to, to the history and see that Parikshit Maharaj was born in a very unusual circumstances. When he was not even born, actually, he was attacked by nothing less than a Brahmastra. A Brahmastra is more than millions of intercontinental ballistic missiles put together. And he was protected by that Brahmastra, even in the womb of his mother, by nobody less than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself. And so, he had a glimpse of Sri Krishna. He had the glimpse of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And ever since that glimpse in his entire life, he looked at each and every individual and he said that, is this the same that I had seen then? So he examined each person. Examine in Sanskrit is called pariksha. And that is where the word parikshit comes from. So he has been examining each and every person to see if he finds the glimpse of Krishna. And now he is at a point where he has been told that in 7 days he has to give up his life because of bite of a snake, takshaka. And in this lifespan, Parikshit Maharaj has demonstrated himself as an exemplary devotee. Srila Prabhupada, in so many of his purports, he has told us that Parikshit Maharaj is one of the best devotees from the Pandava dynasty, from the Kuru dynasty. So that's number one. That's the life of Parikshit Maharaj as a devotee, starting from the Brahmastra to ending on the Takshaka and the life in between of devotional service to Krishna.
That's amazing.
Thank you. The second thing is with regard, which I want to put as from hunger to savor, then to favor. So let's talk about this. So let us look at the contemporary rulers and kings. If they are traveling, they have got a huge paraphernalia. It's not possible that they would be alone somewhere in difficult distress conditions. They have so much of Parikshit Maharaj, on the other hand, was the emperor of entire planet. So Srila Prabhupada says that it is only because of the divine providence that circumstances were such created that he was isolated, he was hungry and thirsty and therefore distressed. Otherwise, think about it. A person who owns the entire planet, can he be hungry or thirsty? He is the king of the entire planet. He was got into such a situation. And because of that hunger and thirst, being in an agitated state of mind, we can little bit relate to this because we all go through temper shoot-ups when I'm having, for example, Ekadashi. So I can think about how Parikshit Maharaj, I'm such a, I feel very hungry. Let me honestly admit that. So from that hunger, from that agitation, he actually felt that this meditating sadhu he's not extending the basic due courtesy that is due to an emperor. And therefore, out of anger, he took a dead snake and put it around the neck of this meditating sadhu. Obviously, sadhu knew that Parikshit Maharaj is a great devotee, but his son was not that familiar. He was not that knowledgeable. And therefore, out of anger, he cursed Parikshit Maharaj. That hunger, I beg your pardon, that actually put Parikshit Maharaj into this position. The same Parikshit Maharaj is, after hearing from Shukadeva Goswami, he's saying that I'm savoring the words that you are telling me about Krishna Katha. Wow. I don't need anything else. Just keep telling me this. So that journey from hunger to savoring the Krishna Katha, and from savoring the Krishna Katha to actually doing a favor to devotees like all of us. I think that when we go through the questions, we will see that Parikshit Maharaj is basically asking all those questions that were asked, that were actually addressed and discussed by Sri Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. But Parikshit Maharaj is asking the same questions again. And that is just to do favors on devotees like us. Twofold favors. Favor number one is he is indirectly showing that a devotee should always be inquisitive. There should be a very solid philosophical foundation to spiritual discourses. That's number one. Number two, the spiritual masters should make sure that they are eligible to answer all these questions in a very authoritative way. So this is hunger to savor and then to favor to devotees like us. And the last part about the questioner, the glories of questioner Parikshit Maharaj, is that, I can say that for all the seekers, all the human beings, you can categorize them in 4 different ways. One, who know that they know, who know that they don't know, who don't know that they know, and who don't know that they don't know. And Parikshit Maharaj, over the end of the chapter, when he's asking all these questions, after asking the questions, he says that based on my understanding, based on my realizations, these are my questions. So please address these questions. And I'm pretty sure that there would be many others that I have not even asked because I cannot reach there. But please answer them for me as well. And therefore, I would like to end this slide with one of the best questions that you can ask is, what does this experience make possible? It was possible for us to hear Srimad Bhagavatam because of this difficult scenario, this negative situation when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to be to die in 7 days. So that is about the glories of the questioner.
So that's very wonderful. How we are hearing about such a great devotee who, because of his great mercy, is bringing Srimad Bhagavatam to all of us. So coming back to what should we actually hear? So we are very greatly fortunate to hear about this devotee Parikshit Maharaj, and we heard that he is going to die in 7 days, right? So what is he doing? What does he want to do in that time? So when I think about myself, I would be like completely freaking out. But he wants to hear. He's requesting Srila Shukadev Goswami that please continue narrating Srimad Bhagavatam, right? So that I can place my mind upon Supreme Soul, Lord Krishna, and being completely freed from material qualities, thus relinquish this body. That's so amazing, right? And this is certainly pure devotee's view. But for us, Srila Prabhupada mercifully instructs in his purport. He is telling us that hearing Krishna Katha means to constantly associate with the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna. That means to be liberated from the qualities of matter, because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is beyond the 3 modes of nature. He has created this universe. And also in first chapter, we hear that from the purport of Srila Prabhupada that Krishna Katha or topics of Krishna are so pure that wherever they are spoken, the place, the hearer, the inquirer, the speaker, and all concerned become purified. So Krishna is just like sun, and Maya is like darkness. That also comes from Srila Prabhupada. So obviously, when sun is present, there is no question of darkness. And now again, Maharaj Parikshit is glorifying hearing Krishna Katha, is saying that those who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and take this matter very seriously, he's not saying just sentimentally here, but take the matter very seriously, then they will have personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, manifested in their hearts within a short time. That's really so much hope giving. And he is also telling us that how this Krishna Katha acts on us. That we heard from Srila Prabhupada that because we are getting to associate with Lord Shri Krishna. And Parikshit Maharaj is saying when the Srimad Bhagavatam enters the heart of a devotee, it sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship with Krishna, and thus cleanses the dust of material association such as lust, anger, and hankering. So does it acts like autumnal rains upon pools of muddy water? Like there is a lot of stuff inside, right? And when we hear Krishna Katha, so that acts like fresh water, which washes away all the dirt from our heart. So this way, hearing Krishna Katha fully satisfies us. And on the other side, this happiness, distress, this cycle will never satisfy us, right? So this is how Parikshit Maharaj is showing through his own example. So I was thinking that we all want a perfect life, but what is the perfection of life actually? So Srila Shukdev Goswami says in first chapter itself, I'm just bringing it here because it's relevant here, that highest perfection of life through any means, if you do your prescribed duties properly or you do nice yoga abhyas or whatever, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. That's, I mean, it's so important. I mean, it rings in our ears that I never thought about this. So this is a food for thought for all of us, that if our life continues to be like that swing, if you remember in the beginning, we showed that swing, which is swinging between happiness and distress. So what would we do in situations like Maharaj Parikshit when we are about to die? What will be the most important thing for us to contemplate on? Will we be able to remember Krishna at that last moment? So it is possible. It is possible because we are surrounded with a lot of mercy that Krishna is giving us. It is possible when we hear from proper sources, right? When we are hearing from realized devotees. So it is very, very important that where are we hearing? The source of information is very important. So let's hear where Parikshit Maharaj was hearing, right?
So the question, Parikshit Maharaj is actually asking questions to Shukadeva Goswami. I would like to start with this humorous quotation. It's very flattering to ask others about matters they are little qualified to discuss. The answer that we get would be only as good as the source we are asking the question. Let us look at the life of Shukadeva Goswami, the questioned. Parikshit Maharaj has been a realized devotee all his life. He has been grandson of a devotee of the Lord who had the privilege of having the Supreme Lord himself being his chariot driver in the war of Mahabharata. So that Parikshit Maharaj is actually asking questions to Shukadeva Goswami. And so Shukadeva Goswami, how is he authoritative? How is he in a position to answer these questions? And so let us look at what authoritative really means. And Prabhupada has given a fantastic example here when he says that, you know, the people who are mental speculators, they are not authoritative. Philosophers, they are not authoritative because philosophers are called philosophers only when they come up with their own philosophy. If they are speaking something that already exists, that means they are not philosophers, they are repeating somebody else's philosophy. And which means that if I am a philosopher, then I'm thinking something novel, something unique that nobody has thought before. And then definitely it is driven by my whims and fancies, and it is limited by my limited senses, my limited perceptions. And in that sense, a philosopher may be extremely deeply philosophical, but he is not authoritative in the matters of spiritual sciences because he is not authoritative. An authoritative source is the one who has heard it from the right authorities. Shukadeva Goswami heard Krishna Katha from his father, Vyasadeva. Who is Vyasadeva? I'll take 1 minute. Vyasadeva has compiled all the Vedas, all the knowledge that is there, and he was still not satisfied. He wrote this volume of Mahabharata, but he was not very satisfied. His spiritual master Narad Muni told him that you have not glorified Krishna sufficiently. You have not glorified Krishna at all, actually, and that is the cause of your distress. He also said that, so here I am giving you, you expand it accordingly and then share it with the world. I want to take you back to Sri Ram Katha. where Valmiki, when he is about to see that a hunter had just killed one of the two birds, he says, Ma nishad pratishtha twamgam shashwati samaha ya kroncha mithunam ekam vadhi kam mohitam. As soon as he got that perfection of his grammar, the perfection of his expression, he was told that you are now in the right position to glorify the Supreme Lord.
Wow.
The same knowledge which actually Narad Muni got was from Brahma, and that knowledge he received from Krishna. So Shukadeva Goswami is authoritative in the sense that he is speaking the same knowledge that was received from Krishna without any alteration. In that sense, Shukadeva Goswami is an authoritative source for asking all these questions. And therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is putting to them authentic because he is very unprofessional about it. Unprofessional meaning he is not seeking money. He is not seeking remunerations out of sharing this knowledge. Shukadeva Goswami is a person who is Atmaram. It is said in the earlier canto itself that Atmaramascha munayo nirgrantha apyurukrame kurvantya ahetukim bhaktimithyam bhuta guno harihi. All the Atmarams who are self-realized, who are already on the transcendental platform, they also are attracted towards Krishna Katha. That is the power of Krishna Katha. And such people who are, so this is not just the glorification of Krishna Katha, it is also glorification of the Atmarams, in the sense that if you are an Atmaram, you are supposed to be attracted to Krishna Katha. And in that sense, Shukadeva Goswami is naturally attracted to Krishna Katha, and therefore he is authentic, he is selfless. Last point about Shukadeva Goswami is with regard to what Parikshit Maharaj said. We touched upon the point from hunger to savor. It's very nicely said. Parikshit Maharaj says that I will not have any bodily discomforts anymore. I will not have exhaustions anymore because I am hearing from your ocean of knowledge. Now, when I compare this, when I say that, okay, if I'm hungry, Amara just passed on a glass of water to me because I felt little hungry or maybe thirsty, then that should quench my thirst. How big an ocean compared to this glass of water? Maybe Parikshit Maharaj was hungry or thirsty for 2 days, 3 days. Maybe he would need a gallon, 10 gallons of water. Look at an ocean. That is the amount of knowledge, amount of realization that Shukadeva Goswami has. And Parikshit Maharaj is going to be satisfied by that source. That is the question. That is Shukadeva Goswami. That is the glory of Shukadeva Goswami.
Constantly relishing.
Yes,
right?
yes. Srimad Bhagavatam. Now let us go to Srimad Bhagavatam. So we talked about Parikshit Maharaj, the questioner. Parikshit Maharaj was the one who got glimpse of Krishna. He has been seeking Krishna all his life. And at the end of his life, he is saying that this Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound incarnation of Krishna. That is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the source. It is auspicious for all. Prabhupada, in the purports, he has very nicely explained that this is not for a sect. You don't need to have a certain level of intellectual acumen to understand the auspiciousness or to feel the auspiciousness. I have heard from so many sadhus, in our movement, they say that a lot of auspiciousness comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, but the other way is also true, that you get a chance, you get the privilege of associating with Srimad Bhagavatam when you have done a lot of auspicious things in your life. When you have had enough auspicious credits, then you get the association of Srimad Bhagavatam. The last point is with regard to ocean and boat. Now here, I'd like to take the example is given by Parikshit Maharaj, that now that I have come home to Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm feeling like a person who had an absolutely uncomfortable journey and has come back home.
There's shelter.
Yeah, yes. Now, I just want to take this 1 minute and to appreciate and glorify all our Parivrajakacharyas, our gurus, our Shri Gurus, our Santas, the Acharyas in our movement, who have given their life to bring this Srimad Bhagavatam into our hearts, in our homes, and they themselves don't own a material home. What is their shelter? they have taken shelter in Srimad Bhagavatam. And that is such a beautiful thing. And that is Srimad Bhagavatam, that where Parikshit Maharaj is seeking all these questions. So this is the questioned.
Yeah, so we heard, very beautifully explained. We heard that what to hear and where to hear. So regarding this only, that where to hear, Prabhupada instructs us that it is duty of the sane to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from a realized soul and not be duped by a professional man, by any professional man. So I was thinking of this story regarding this. Some skit was also performed on that some time ago. So there was a person who was pretending to be a sadhu. So he was telling everyone that everyone is God, everyone is God. Maya is covering us right now. But as soon as that covering is gone, we all will become God. So everyone was very happy. They started giving him heavy charity, you know. But there was one sane person who asked that if we all are gods, then how does Maya is able to cover us? So obviously he was unable to answer. So he started dodging the questions, all the while collecting all the money, you know.
Yeah.
So, and that money was given in charity, right? So he started collecting everything. And suddenly they heard a police siren. So the police was there to actually arrest him because he was duping everyone like that. So he started fleeing from the place. And people then understood that he's a pretender.
Yes.
And they chased him. So one caught hold of his hair, but it was also a wig that came out. And finally, he could manage to escape with all the money. So, you know, it was just on a lighter side. But really, it is our duty to see under the light of scripture that who is a self-realized soul. So Prabhupada also instructs that one should continue such hearing. Such hearing means from that self-realized soul until the end of one's life, so that we will actually have the association, transcendental association of Krishna, and we will get liberated simply by hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this subject matter is so important. It is so important that we cannot take the risk of hearing from anybody, like any unrealized person. So next we should focus on that how are we hearing? So Prabhupada is saying that we should take shelter of a realized spiritual master, and then we should put submissive inquiries in his service, in devotee service, and also for our better understanding. And that will provide us immunity to all kinds of offenses. So I was thinking about it, and certainly Sri Guru gives us all the guidance when we put submissive inquiries before him. And that actually protects us from committing offenses on the path of devotional service, that we are getting proper knowledge. So we are understanding the proper way, authoritative, as you mentioned, right? Authoritative way of doing the things. So just like Prabhu mentioned, one more thing that Prabhupada said, that even if one is fixed in devotional service, like Parikshit Maharaj, he must still inquire from the realized spiritual master. So I was thinking that realized souls are traveling in this material world to liberate the conditioned living entities like us, you and me. So this is up to us how to take benefit of this precious opportunity. By proper inquiry only, we can understand what is the position of Lord Krishna, what is our position, how should we serve him, right? So because we have to serve from our position, right, appropriately, because there are different people in the world, they have different positions. So if one hears attentively, one will naturally want to know more. If we hear something with very focus, so we want to know more, right? And Krishna is unlimited. So if we hear attentively about Krishna, we will have lot of inquiries. We will have lot to know more about Krishna. He's unlimited. He's growing all the time, right? So we can remain in that bliss of Srimad Bhagavatam throughout our lives.
Yeah.
So we will see now what questions Parikshit Maharaj
Yeah.
asked.
Could have.
Yeah, could have asked.
This is on a lighter vein, so devotees, please pardon me for so this is, look at the temporary kings, rulers, and look at some of these questions.
Contemporary, you mean, right?
Yeah, and you will see that any of these questions could be very well called strategic or tactical. How can I appease the Brahmana boy? Or should I threaten him with severe sanctions? Or how about some diplomatic negotiation with the Brahmana himself?
I can relate
Yeah,
to that.
right. If I was saved from Brahmastra, why not from a snake? I mean, this is a very valid question, that why not? If I can be saved from such a weapon, why not from a snake bite? And the most important one, which I usually get trapped into, is why me? I have been so dear to the Supreme Lord. He protected me when I was not even born. Then why me now? But I would end this slide with just saying that judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers.
Yeah. So Parikshit Maharaj is definitely not inquiring in that way.
Yeah.
He is in a very responsible manner. He is putting forward very thoughtful inquiries before Srila Shukadeva Goswami. So he is not only confirming the importance of hearing Bhagavatam, as we heard in the beginning, but he is asking questions like, the transcendental spirit soul is different from material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? So Prabhupada is explaining it in this way. The living being in the conditioned state of material existence is subjected to many transmigrations. So continuous changing of body. But what are the causes of material embodiment of part and parcel of Lord who has a spiritual body, right? So he's not only confirming the importance of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he is also establishing the philosophical basis. Like he's also asking, Brahma came out of the lotus flower from the navel of Garbhodakshay Vishnu. So do they have same kind of body? He's asking that also, like that, many questions he's asking. So he is establishing the philosophical basis also. And he's, as you said, from savor to favor also. So he is benefiting all the classes of persons. So similarly, we see Arjuna was also, like we see in Bhagavad Gita, he was also put into bewilderment. But the questions that he asked to Lord Krishna, that are benefiting all the generations of men, right? Personally, I can say for myself, it is benefiting so much. So this is the mercy of these pure devotees, and that is ultimately coming from the most merciful Lord Krishna. So what are some questions that Parikshit Maharaj asked? Let's talk about that.
So this is the last section of the chapter, if you will, which is the questions. Now, if you look at the questions, the slide that I'm showing right now, these questions are questions on eternals. The next one would be questions on the transient. And so what we have done is, if you look at all the questions, they have been categorized into, long-term or eternal questions. I'm using the word eternal and long-term very interchangeably here, because what may be something eternal for an ant's life may be just one lifespan of a human being.
Yeah, a few years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So eternal is very relative. Brahma's life for me is eternal, but Brahma's life is not eternal for Krishna. However, relatively speaking, these questions are eternal and the other are more transient. So let us just start the questions that are related to the eternal things, like soul and the super soul.
So eternal subject matters,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Mm.
Then the difference between body of the Lord and common living entity, the universe, its creation, maintenance and annihilation, and the time. Now, before we go further into each question or these questions, I want to read this out to you. An easy question can have an easy answer, but a hard question must have a hard answer. And for the hardest question of all, there may be no answer except faith. And it is very important here that that kind of a faith is developed in both the questioner and the questioned. If we have doubts in the questioner, Parikshit Maharaj's capacity, his authority as the person who will represent my questions or ask the questions that are applicable for me, that is why it is very important that I put my trust, my faith on both of them. And that is established. So now we can actually venture into the kind of questions. Now, if you look at these particular questions, you will see that these questions were already talked about largely in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna himself. Parikshit Maharaj wants to know more about this. So as Amara shared earlier, that, these questions should be repetitive, as Prabhupada says. They should, every point in time, as soon as you get an opportunity, such questions should be there. That's one thing. Second thing is, I asked this to my spiritual master, that why the same questions again? And he said, and yeah, it makes a lot of sense now to me, that whatever you study in undergraduate study, the subject matter would remain the same in graduate study as well, postgraduate study as well. Only the depth covered and the width covered would keep on becoming more and more as you go deeper into these subjects. So I'll quickly go through some of these, for example, if you look at soul and super soul, upadrashta anumanta cha bharta bhukta maheshwara parmatmeti chapyukto dehe asmin purushah paraha. In our own body, there is one upadrashta who is the witness, anumanta who is the permission giver. That we call parmatmeti. Parmatmeti chapyukto. We call it Paramatma also. So that is super soul that Krishna already said. Similarly, Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagadvi parivartate. He also says, Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadionir aham bija pradah pita. I am the seed giving father of this entire material creation. And then lastly, the time. Krishna says that Kalo asmi lokakshaya krit pravruddho. When he's showing his universal form, he shows his time dimension of his personality, and he says, time I am, and I'm here to destroy everybody. Now that destruction is not, of course, instantaneous destruction. Only then we will understand Krishna as time, but it means over time, Krishna, whatever he has created, he is going to annihilate. And that is his time feature. So these are the questions related to eternal. Let's go to the questions that are more related to the transient. But before I move there, am I missing something? Have I missed anything? No, I don't think we should be. Okay. So the next one is the slide that's related to questions that are more related to the transient. Questions related to action and reaction, to varnashram, occupational duties, inhabitants of various planets, devotional service. You see, Parikshit Maharaj, who has been a devotee himself, he is asking questions related to devotional service, its advantages and disadvantages. Is he not doing a favor to us? He has been a practicing devotee. Srila Prabhupada, same. He has been a practicing devotee. He would have been happy just staying in Vrindavan. He took the pains to get on the ocean, get here, establish this society so that I and you and everybody else could benefit from this divine knowledge. So Parikshit Maharaj asking the same question, asking about unconditioned living entities and also the infidels, asking about great mystic opulences and their destinations. I would like to end this with this one last thing. We don't have, I think, the time to go through each one of the questions. So I'll just read this. I had 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I know. Their names were where and what, when and why, and how and who. So this is the curiosity, the inquisitiveness of Parikshit Maharaj that we see. And this is where the chapter comes to an end, where Parikshit Maharaj asks these questions. And then he says that these are my questions, but there are several others that I have not even touched upon.
Or I don't know.
Or I don't know. So please answer them as well.
So it is his faith in his spiritual master
Yes.
that he will know
Yes.
what I want to know.
Right. And then starts this journey of the answers, which is our beloved Srimad Bhagavatam. And I would end this with a well-packed question carries its answer on its back as a snail carries its shell. Thank you very much.
So I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone. We have so many human frailties we are
Yes.
very much aware of, and we know that we have a long way to go. But still, you gave us this opportunity to dive deeper into the subject matter and study Srimad Bhagavatam sincerely, at least for some time. That's a great mercy. Also, I convey my gratitudes and regards to our mentor, our spiritual master, and all our devotee congregation for this opportunity and hearing us. Thank you very much.
Actually, the hexadecimal number was created for us, so we could count the people we should be grateful to. And we are just using binary. We are, so there is a long way for us to go, Prabhus and Mataji's devotees. So please purify. Please let us know our weaknesses. Please let us know if there is any question that we can discuss more.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for that beautiful presentation. Just personally sharing, the skit was a nice touch, and the quotes were also a nice way of framing the different points you were making. So thank you for giving us a very rich context to hear your words. There's a question that came through the YouTube chat, and this person writes, "My question is regarding hearing from a self-realized soul, as you mentioned. Of course, everyone will submissively hear from their Diksha Guru, but what are your thoughts from hearing from our peers? For example, generally speaking, we can debate and argue with other devotees or our spouse or our friends for hours, but when it comes to speaking about Krishna, we want a self-realized soul. Like, nobody gets purified from arguing and criticizing each other for hours." So,
Would you like
bringing back to the point, what are your thoughts on how we hear from our peers or people we regard as our peers?
Srila Prabhupada has given a beautiful example of this, Prabhu or Mataji. He says that as long as the son repeats whatever his father has told him without adding his own concoction, without adding his own mental speculation, his knowledge is perfect because he has received that from his father. For example, a small kid does not know what a machine is, but when his father explains to him that this is machine, and then he repeats that this is a machine, he may not have realized knowledge, like me, for example, but I can only offer to say that, as Srila Prabhupada explains us, as long as we are a transparent medium to whatever we have heard from our acharyas, and this knowledge is perfect, we can accept that knowledge. Thank you. You have something to add?
I was just thinking that Krishna says, no, that how devotees relish discussing among each other.
Yes.
Tushyanti cha ramanti cha.
Ramanti cha.
So it's really nice to discuss among each other because glories of Krishna are always purifying. So that's my take on that.
Hare Krishna. This is Jaya Narsimha Das. I have a question. So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, you mentioned about the Parikshit Maharaj's question on the eternal as well as the transient. So, eternal makes sense because we are eternal being and we have questions that needs to do with the eternity. But can you maybe elaborate on why Parikshit Maharaj asks question about transient?
My understanding of this is, Prabhu, that they are transient because, as Srila Prabhupada says, that karma is something which is so transient. You can change the result of your previously received karmas by genuinely taking up Krishna consciousness. In that sense, the varnashram system that you get into, the karmas that you do, the action and reaction, they are very transient. They are not written in stone that going forward this cannot change. In that sense, they are transient. Share my screen.
There's another question, unless you wanted to add anything.
Yeah, he's trying to share his screen
Oh.
regarding that.
Okay.
Yeah, so for example,
Yeah,
here.
it is coming
Yeah.
now.
So for example, action and reaction, right? So for example, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4.7, Krishna is saying, karmano hyavi bodhavyam cha vikarmanaha, karmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. The gati of the karma is very intense and we should know about it. And of course, karma can change over time. So that which Krishna has captured in his discourse with Arjuna, that this is the gati of karma is very gahan, very intense, very, how should I say, very confidential or very serious subject matter. The same subject matter Parikshit Maharaj is picking up, and this can change over time. So I have put this in transient category. And Parikshit Maharaj wants to know that how within this lifetime, being established in whatever roles that you have been given. Parikshit Maharaj was a ruler. He was ruling the entire planet. So his responsibilities as a ruler were far more different than the responsibility of the meditative sage, who was meditating, and everything is history. So they had different karmas, but both of them, their ultimate perfection of life is in the realization of the Supreme Lord. The inhabitants of planets, Srila Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. He says that if you want to go to, say, for example, advanced countries like United States, you have to have certain qualifications to be there. People would be only allowed if you have certain qualifications to be there. How do we get those qualifications? And that is how Prabhupada's explanation is of inhabitants of different planets. I was reading this, that which passport is the most welcome passport, and to my surprise, most welcome passport was of Japan. There are large number of countries that would give entry to people a visa on arrival if you had a Japanese passport. So that is that is again transient, that can change over time. Srila Prabhupada gives another example of the mystics. He says Draupadi was not a mystic, but as soon as she was in a difficult situation, she just called Krishna, and Krishna helped her in such a way that she was protected from being humiliated in a crowd of opposite gender only. Transient, because this is something which was very temporary, right? But still it has an impact, and Parikshit Maharaj wants to cover that. That's my understanding of the topic.
He's saying there is one more question.
Yes, Prabhu.
You can stop sharing.
Okay. There's one comment from Nityananda Prabhu who writes, "Hearing from you both has been nourishing and satisfying." And then there's,
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very, very
Same
much.
here. Hearing from you also is always nourishing and satisfying.
and there's another question. Maybe if we can, I guess, keep it a little shorter response, which is, Srila Prabhupada sent his early disciples to preach even though they were previously breaking the 4 regulative principles. So my question is how to be grateful to hear devotees regardless of their background.
So what was the beginning part, Prabhu? Breaking?
Sure. Srila Prabhupada sent his early disciples to preach even though they were previously breaking the 4 regulative principles. So the person's question is how to be grateful to hear from devotees regardless of their background.
Yeah, so it is the intention that matters the most. So now also we can say that we are not perfect in following everything what Prabhupada has said, but our intentions are to serve Krishna. So that matters the most. And that since because of their hard work, so many temples have been established. They have done so much hard work to bring this moment to this level that all of us are able to derive benefits out of it. So that way we can be grateful to them, even though they were not able to do certain things, but later on they perfected themselves.
One thing I can quickly add, Prabhu, I think that, if they were able to follow the instructions of their spiritual masters, I think they did the best they did. The best disciple can ever do, regardless of all his weaknesses. If he is following his spiritual master's direction, I think almost all of Srila Prabhupada's disciples have been following Srila Prabhupada's movement. They have been stalwarts of it. And
that is the path of perfection,
yes,
to follow the instructions
Yeah.
of spiritual master.
Thank you, Prabhu.
All right. On that note, if you wanted to give a quick closing statement, otherwise we can adjourn this Sunday Feast program.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you very much. Krishna's devotees are more merciful than Krishna, as it is said. So we are most thankful, sincerely thankful to all the devotees who are here to purify our presentation. We value that very much, and it has been an honor speaking in front of you. Thank you so
And
much.
we seek all of your prayers and blessings that what we spoke, we can also apply and implement it and hear regularly and read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this beautiful presentation and for all of you who participated in our virtual Sunday Feast. Next week, the Sunday Feast will be given by His Grace Deva Madhava Prabhu, and he will be taking us through 2nd Canto, Chapter 9. Hare Krishna, everyone. And a reminder, the Kirtan, the Memorial Kirtan will start at 7 o'clock on Zoom. Information should be distributed through the WhatsApp group. Hare Krishna.